Hey there, this is Tim. I'm one of the partners, Paragon partners, along with my other partner, Kelly. And in this video, I'm going to go over my last 30 eBay sales. If you've been following along, you see my sales are down. I've had about 16,500 in the last month. This is off a peak of about 19,500, and it kind of slowed down right after Labor Day. But overall, I'm still up, and I'm still happy with the way things are going. First item, this pair of ice skates. Now, I got this whole hockey outfit. It was ice skates, the guard, the helmet, the pads. And I got it for $11 at my local thrift store. I looked up the skates, and I put them online for $60. That seemed to be about what they were going for. Some lady offered me $40. I came back at $50. And I don't know if this is true or not. She said, $45, please, I really need these for my son. I can't afford a lot, blah, blah, blah. So I gave in at $45, but they were pretty good skates. This camera, I sold this for $20. This came out of a big surplus lot we got probably like about 6 months ago, and I was just ready for it to move on. This is older because I gave it with free shipping, and I'm not doing that as much anymore. If you've been following along, these Motorola power supplies, you see I've sold these before. When I had them at $9.99, of course they're flying off the shelf. Then I raised it to $10.99, and they're still doing good. So I thought, I went ahead and put them up to $14.99. And now they're not doing so well, so I may have overshot the sweet spot. I'll probably end up lowering these in a bit so I can sell some more. Again, if you've been following along, you see that I've sold some of these printers. Now, I bought 3 printers, so these HP printers, and all 3 sold out within a week. And I paid, I think, $70 for all 3 of them at an auction. That was a police recovery of goods. And I was surprised at how well they did. I expected to hang on to them for a bit more, but they all sold within days. Just some old iPhones. Again, if you've been following along, I bought some iPhones from this Russian guy who was liquidating his eBay inventory. And so I went ahead and got these. These all powered on. I wasn't sure if they were locked. But what I was surprised, I underestimated the effort it would take to charge these, identify them, and list them. Next, this walkie-talkie came out of another lot. What I should have done, people kept on asking me about the ID. I needed to take off the battery, and then there's a label underneath the battery pack of what the ID of this particular item was. Then they were able to look it up on the Motorola website, and they could tell if it would hit the frequencies they needed, if it was VHF or UHF. And after I did that, then I started to get leads on it. I ended up selling this for like about $26. Now this train set, this was new out of box. I talked to my train guy, and he said this was a little more desirable because it was G scale, which is more rare. But on the bummer side, it was battery operated, so it was some kid's cheapy toy. Now I put it up for $25. And right away, I started to get all these lowball offers, like around 12 to 13. And they kept on coming. I kept thinking, nah. I kept on sitting on it. So someone offered me $16.50, and I finally sold it for that amount. I kind of expected a little more out of it, but like I say, I only paid $5 for the whole thing. This one I had been holding on for a while. I think I got the swap meet off a dollar table. I ended up selling it for $10. It was some filters for a respirator. And originally, when I saw Snap-on, I thought they were referring to Snap-on the tools, and of course they're premium tools. I thought they were the best. No, it's just Snap-on filters. This one took about 4 months to ship, and I thought I'd go a little faster, but I still converted $1 into $10. This one came out of electronic surplus lot. I did sell this for $60, but I had free shipping with it, so that ate in about $20 of it. And again, this came out of a big surplus lot of electronic goods. Here's one of those Motorola radios. I'm running out of these now. I got this from that Russian guy again. A lot of time people run out or the radios, or it's not working, and they need a replacement. And so I've been doing pretty good on these. I'm probably selling out quick now. Here's some cameras, again, from that Russian guy. I just bought, I was probably close to 100 cameras. So I lotted them all up by manufacturer. Now, most of these cameras didn't have batteries or memory cards. It's just the base camera. So they didn't have a lot of worth. But at least they did consistently sell. Yeah, here's another lot of those cameras. These are a bit more desirable. And you can see this one I did 20 bucks on. So I was happy with this one. Boy, this sword was a pain to sell. I got this at an auction probably like 6 months ago, and I got it for $3. You can't determine the scale there, but it was probably about a yard long. Now the sword, there's a real sword made out of metal, but it's made out of stainless steel, so it's kind of on the cheapy end. But I was thinking, God, what 13-year-old boy doesn't want a sword with a leather sheath? I mean, God, here's your Dungeons and Dragon fantasy come to life. So I put it up, started an auction for 30 bucks, and it didn't go. And then I cut it in half for $15, and it didn't go. I said, screw it. So I put it up for 99 cents, and it still didn't go. So all right. So I went ahead and I put it up for $19.99. Buy it now, best offer. And it wasn't moving. And finally, my partner, he helped me out. He got smart. And we went through all the watchers, and he made them offers. And I think we ended up selling it for $16. So I was glad to get rid of this kind of relic. This is something else that I thought I'd do a bit better on. I sold this for $15 plus $10 shipping and handling. I looked these up, and they were going for like around $20 to $25. And I had this up for 2 months, and I was ready to sell it. Again, not as much as I expected. Now this one I'm happy on. My thrift store was having a 50% off sale, and it had a $6 price tag. I got it for $3. It was new in box. I couldn't put this on Amazon, unfortunately, so I said, I'll put it on eBay then. It saw the price tag of $45 on it, so I said, okay, I'll buy it now for $40. And I got my asking price, so I was happy with that. Here's a video camera I got at the swap meet about 2 weeks ago. I got it for $5, and they get the asking price of $35. And typically when I get these video cameras, I look pretty much for the $5 range, and that may seem kind of cheap, but a lot of these video cameras, there's just a higher risk factor. A lot of times they're bad, or they have some sort of problem or issue, and so the return and reject rate on them is a lot more. So to compensate for that, I have to get them at a bit lower price. Just because I know they're going to get returned more often. Again, some of those cameras from that Russian, most of these were battery operated, so they didn't have the same value in them. Now I got this there's a store in my neighborhood, and they do leftovers from estates, and this is one of the items. And I was on his private email list, and he sent everybody in his email club that he was having a 50% off Labor Day sale. So I went to the store, and I got a couple of good things. This is one of the good things that I got from him. I got it half off, and I think I got it something like $4 or $5. So I was really happy with it. Then I went ahead and I sold it for $20, but the bonus was the guy I sold it to was in my next town over, so the shipping was ultra cheap on it. So I was really happy with this deal. This is something else, another one I got from my thrift store at the 50% off sale. I think I paid it was $4 or $5 for it. I got it because I had both a cassette and an 8-track, and I'm always attracted to the 8-tracks. Some guy offered me $20, and I hadn't had any bites on this in about 2 months. I came back at $23 just because I wanted to get rid of it, and he accepted that. Had I do it over the free shipping, I would have added a little to the shipping charge on it. Now this is something that came out of electronic surplus lot that we got, and I did $20 buy it now, and as soon as I listed it, it sold within about a day. But what was interesting was we bought this huge lot, and this is something just buried way on the bottom. I wouldn't expected anything out of it, but I thought, I might as well go ahead and listen and see what it does. And right away it sold. And when we get these little things that add up, you can really do well. Oh, I already mentioned that one. Oh, now this is a recent acquisition. We bought another big surplus electronic lot, and we got the asking price of $35 out of it. And what's encouraging is we had about a dozen of these in that lot. So I'm going to go ahead and get busy and list the rest of them. They seem to do well. This one I may have actually underpriced. It was a dynamo motor, and it was Army surplus. And I know it was vintage, and it's easy to think World War II. So there were no comparable. So I just went ahead and I put $29.99. Buy it now, best offer. And no kidding, I'd sold it within about 3 hours at the asking price. So that made me curious if I had undervalued it. Yeah, I wish maybe I would have asked a bit more and see what would have happened. Oh, this is another recent acquisition out of our electronic surplus slot. And I sold another one of these within about 4 hours. Again, at the asking price, which always makes me wonder if I undervalued it. Now, when I looked these up, as a complete kit, they were going for like about 150, maybe a little bit more. If a new in box, you're like around 170. So I went ahead and priced it about $100. The other thing that was very helpful was that when I got this, there was no power adapter for it. Now, I mentioned the thrift store a while ago. About like 6 months ago, I went down there and went to 50% off sales, and I bought every single power adapter they had. I bought like about 100 of them. I went ahead, I took them to my shop, and I sorted them. Because a lot of times I get electronics like this, where they're very valuable, but they have no adapter to go with them. And I have to order one on eBay. It's going to cost me $10 and take a while. So I kind of have my own little library of power adapters, and they come in useful for situations like this. Here are some magic cards, kind of at the leftover of these. We had about 20. We got money out of like 16 of them, and there's just a couple stubborn ones left over. So we said screw it, and we put them at 99 cents, and this is what the market price was of it. Here's a complete Porter cable set. I bought this, it was part of a bigger lot at the swap meet about 3 weeks ago. The guy, he had all sorts of power tools. He was standardizing his tool collection on DeWalt. And he had this kit plus 2 other smaller kits, and I bought the whole thing for $40. The 2 smaller kits I sold, I think, for about 50 or 60. So I was already ahead. So this was just gravy. So I went ahead and I put it online initially for $99. And I sold it, but it was one of those deadbeat foreign buyers who didn't pay. And of course, he held it up for 21 days. So I was finally able to relist it. So I cut it in half at $49. I set it at auction. And you can see it went for $61. This is the last item. I just bought this last week at my local auction, and I believe I paid $6 or $8 for it. And I noticed they were going for about 35. So I went ahead and listed it for $30. Buy it now, and it's best offer. And someone gave me the $30 for it, so I was happy to move on from it. Oh, another item. Yeah, I remember this was another leftover from a table lot. I mentioned my local auction, and this was just kind of a hand-me-down. I bought it at the end of the table. Now, when I got it home and I looked these up, in pristine condition, they were going for $40. I loved it. Used, they were going for about $20. Well, this one had a big crack in the side, so I went ahead and I mentioned it. And you can see I got my $10 for it. But just as a table leftover, that was a nothing. You know, I'll take that $10. Oh, here's another one. Now, I got this out of a previous electronic surplus lot. Now, in the new container, these were going for about $70 in the complete kit. So I went ahead and said, it's not in the kit. So I listed it for $50. And on the best offer, someone offered me $35, and we settled on $40, which I thought was a decent price. All right, that's it. You hear this every video. Please be sure and like, subscribe, and comment, and show us a little love, and we really appreciate it. Thanks.